So you have interviewed people.
Yes, I've been interviewing a lot of Pinoy punks, a lot of American hardcore punks, and so forth. But I was just going to say as a PSA to those who watch this, unlike my other interviews where the person I talk to is a direct, Delilah is the wife of the late Howlin Dave. So this is a third person interview.
Girlfriend, actually.
Oh, girlfriend.
Okay, we never married, so I don't claim to be his
Oh,
wife.
my apologies.
Bec- Yeah,
Well, well,
okay,
I met.
okay.
Well, the reason that I've contacted you was because I've all year long I've been interviewing all the TRC veterans, Twister Red Cross, and reviewing the albums. And Helen Dave, his name keeps coming up, and I found out that he unfortunately passed away in 2008, I believe. And I just been
Yeah.
searching for information on the guy, and my buddy Edwin Sallan of Herald X magazine, he pointed me to your direction and told me that if anybody knows about Howlin Dave, it would be you because you were with him. And so
Yeah.
I guess my number one biggest question is, can you tell me the story of Howlin Dave and who he was, how he came to be, and what he did for the punk rock scene and just music in general in the
Um,
Philippines?
okay, I can tell you about okay about us when I was with him already, because when I met him, he was already a famous broadcaster, rock jock. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
when I met him, but okay, but he was playing Pinoy rock, which is more heavy metal really, and some folk songs, folk rock,
Yeah.
things like that. Not punk. Okay, I tell you. So before I met him, you see, I have all these albums. So it all came from me really. But I don't want to. It's not even. I'm not even um like say proud or whatever. But okay, because we are a very musical family. Even my dad introduced me to music, strange ones, long before when I was a kid. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I grew up in India. So in other places sometimes they're more open to strange music than the Philippines, especially those days.
Oh yes,
Okay,
even
this is the
today.
days before I met Dante, before I met Howlin Dave. Okay, so even long before I met him, I listened together with my siblings, family, listen to this music, strange albums like Lou Reed, Leonard
Yeah.
Cohen,
Nice.
all this, even Sex Pistols, everything. Also, I have this brother-in-law he's from Belgium. He's also into rock and roll because we were all very young then, so we were all into rock thing. But the Philippines was always late. That's why there was only one radio station that played rock and roll, which is RJ, DZRJ.
Mm-hmm.
It was even AM radio. Okay, and I used to wonder because I used to listen to it. I would play it really loud in my house because I love music. I'm into music, even before. Anyway, so I used to wonder what it would be like if the Filipinos would hear this music, how they will react to it. Will they understand it? Okay, because it's like that. And just wonder about it. And then one day I met Dante through a mutual friend, a family friend. So I said, "Oh my gosh, this guy, he's a famous rock jock even then." Though I was not into meeting all these guys because I was just happy by myself. I'm that kind of person.
Yeah, I understand
Anyway,
that.
so anyway, I met him and there was an attraction because I admired him because he was doing Pinoy rock and he was speaking in Tagalog, but it didn't sound bad. It's different because he had a good voice and he uses the right words to say. So it's like you have a respect. You
Yeah.
respect this person because everybody was Americanized. All the DJs, they were all slang, Americanized, and everything. He could also speak good English, but in this particular show, he spoke in Tagalog but the rock thing, like Bato ng Maynila, which is rock of Manila. Bato is,
Yeah, but though.
it means rock. Yeah. But, so it's like that. So you have this admiration for this person. So I met him and I asked him, I said, I have all these albums. Do you think it's possible to play it in your show? But actually, that time, they have payolas. You know, payolas under the table money, where the DJs are really are paid a given money. To see, this is supposed to be secret. I'm not supposed to talk about it. They're paid to play certain songs by the record companies. Okay,
Yeah,
so the songs were just chosen. So he said, I have this late show after 10 p.m. So I'm telling you as I remember them, okay?
I
At
understand.
10 p.m., yeah, at 10 p.m., there's no more sponsors, no commercials, so I could play those songs. I said, yes. So I would go to the radio station and we played some music. Played, I chose the albums too. Dante, he didn't know about it. I introduced it to him. He was a very smart person, open mind. See, that's why I liked him. He had an open mind, and he liked them. Chris Spedding. I try to remember, but because I was into Leonard Cohen a lot, and so many others. I forgot.
It's all good.
Anyway, yes, and so we did. But I remember after a while, this is the story. I'm telling you the story before the punk rock thing. Um, before I think after that, I think he got into trouble. He was having problem with the radio station. Actually, also because I was weird. How do you pronounce your name?
Anarka?
Anarka.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? You know what? Before I dressed really strange. I s- I express myself through my outfit.
Yeah,
I
a lot
even
of
had a
punkers
mohawk and
do that.
everything. Okay. And Dante was married.
Oh, he was
So you
married?
can imagine how people treated me there.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So, and anyway, he got into trouble. He was fired from the station. So we went to Baguio. We lived there for a while, a year actually. But it was a bad thing. And all your friends, though we would walk in the streets, people knew him. I would say, if only this, each person would give you a peso, we'll be very rich because people would say, hi, hello, and we were hard up, okay? And he found a job there, but not paying well. So after a year, we came back to Manila, and I pushed him again, go back to RJ. I was, I was pushing him. I was so strong. I was bossy, and I pushed him. And so he got it back and said, now we can do it again. You like
Yes.
my albums. Okay, so we did that. But at the same time, I had this thing in mind also. Um, since he was doing Pinoy rock, I said, why not? Why don't we ask the kids to do a punk thing too? I mean, bands to start something. Like a new music, something different. Stop playing these songs, because I was angry with some of those artists because they were not so good to
You
us.
mean the
These artists,
OPM?
they were not so good to us when we were down.
Like the Manila
So it
Sound
was sort
people?
of a revenge. For the revenge, I asked down there, let's encourage new kids to come out with songs, that new songs, original songs, and they submitted their demo tapes, and we started discovering new talents. And I asked Dante to stop playing some artists, that I didn't like. See, I was getting bossy because Dante is a very good person. He's very sweet. He's not bitchy like me. Okay, so it's like this. So so I said, and also I said to jive with what we were playing late at night, which is the Sex Pistols, which is B-52s, and other stuff. Even reggae, all those reggae, Jimmy Cliff, and everything, And also, okay, so to go with that, I think we should also be playing new ones. new, I mean, new talents or whatever. So, so he made this like encourage new kids to come out, and there were lots who came to the station, and so these are the ones that I consider real punks because I felt them. They're usually from, let's say, not even average families. They live the life. Okay, and you know what? And I started when I asked Dante to stop playing. If I mention names, because I don't want them offended now.
I seriously doubt any of those Manila Sound bands are ever gonna watch my channel.
No, no, it's like this. Okay, so he was playing Asin. You know
Yeah, they're
Asin?
never gonna watch my
It's folk,
stuff.
folk,
Yeah,
folk music.
yeah, I know
It's
who
okay,
Haseen
really.
is.
But I said, you have to stop playing these songs, even Sampaguita, to give way to the new talents, you know?
I was gonna
So
say,
you know
was
what
this
they,
in the '70s or the '80s you're talking about?
these are 80s now. Because I
Okay,
met
'80s.
Dante in the late 70s.
Alrighty.
So it's
So
the 80s, for the
this
80s.
is this before Twisted Red Cross? So I'm trying to get a good timeline for this.
After the Twisted Red Cross is much later when
Okay,
after the punk thing because there was no Twisted Red Cross. There was no Tommy Tanchanco yet.
so this is
Okay? I will
pre all
get to
that.
that. I will get to that
Alrighty,
about
cool.
Tommy Tanchanco.
Alright, cool.
So, okay. Anyway, so that we did. And anyway, Pepe Smith, you know Joey Smith, right?
I've heard of him. Yes.
He's, he passed away recently. Supposed to be the grandfather of Pinoy rock with ang Himig Natin and all. I'm sure you know about him.
Yeah, I know
Well,
about
he's
this.
very famous. Yeah, Juan de la Cruz band. He came one time for an interview at the station, and he told Dante that there's this young boy. He was 15 or 16 years old, Tommy Tanchanco, who wanted to meet us. And so we said, yeah, why not? Oh, he's supposed to be the son of a government.
Yeah.
It's a government thing, like I think National Food Authority,
Yeah,
rice,
Jesus
whatever.
Tanchenko is he's the
Yeah,
Tommy's dad, Minister of
yeah, okay.
Agriculture.
So we met him, and he seems he's into that music, but he's a sport brat, okay? It's not a real punk. That's how I say a rich kid who could buy things. You see, now I'm being punk. Ha ha! You know, anyways. So it's like that, but he had resources, okay? His dad, he has control over this place in Rose Boulevard. It's called World Trade Center. So we started planning concerts, Brave New World, okay, for free. Tommy had the sound system and the venue, also the security. So what we did, Dante and me, we just handled the bands. Those kids who submitted their demo tapes, like Urban Bandits. That's
Yeah.
he later formed Putresca.
Arnold Morales.
Arnold, and Woods, okay, Dead Ends, and I can't think of the others now
GI, Private
because it's
Stock,
quite, yeah, private stock, okay.
Betrayed.
So these are, I tell you, these are the authentic ones. The rest were just copiers, and also okay. During, I'll tell you, because I remember, as I remember, because I will forget if I don't mention it. During the concerts, our mini concerts, some kids would come, like like Dominic Dominic Gamboa.
Yeah, that's the guy from
Later
Betrayed,
on,
right?
he put on, yeah, he was betrayed, and then he put on Tropical Depression,
Yeah,
which is a reggae
yeah,
punk, which
I've heard a
done
bit of it.
very well.
Yes.
Yeah, and also who was there all the time was uh
Dead Sperm.
what's it?
Uh,
No, the betrayed guy. What's his name?
Buddy Trinidad.
He's also a rich kid. Yeah, Buddy Trina is also a rich kid, spot brat, another spot brat. And I can say that
Well,
because I know
yeah,
they come
you
from
grew up with
rich
them.
families. Huh?
You grew up with all these people, so obviously you definitely you know them better than I do.
Yeah, I know them from ever since because they approach us. They want us to help them, to promote them. Without us, they won't have any exposure. You see, or they we won't put them in the concerts, if ever. But later on, when and it's funny because everybody was against it because they didn't understand the music. I mean, on the whole, okay. But it was good when even I think it was Pepsi Cola or Coca Cola standard. There's a sponsor concerts.
Yeah, I read. I think it was
Band,
Pepsi.
yeah, contact, yeah, where I used to judge every other day. I think that's on television, which anyway. And how was it? And so after a while, what happened? So it went on and on. It became famous. We were invited to all, even the provincial places. And even if the main stars would be like Florante or some famous, but we would bring along the punk bands, Tommy's band. Even if the people didn't know them, we would push them because we were the ones, because Dante was hosting it. So we could do what we want, we could put in any artist we want to put. So that's we did, And anyway, it got accepted and we appeared on television, even on other TV shows, interviews, newspapers.
Yeah,
It was
I read a
fun,
bunch of that
really.
actually. Before
Yeah,
I
and
before I started
because
talking to you, I've read a bunch about Howlin Dave's career and such, but yeah, he sounds like a musical revolutionary over there.
yeah,
Was he ever like afraid to do any of this, considering for the longest time he was operating under a vicious dictator?
a what?
Okay,
A what?
Ferdinand Marcos was the dictator.
Oh no! I'll tell you what. DZRJ, the station, was taken over by the military. I tell you
Seriously?
this. This is so funny. And when we were there, all military men, the colonel, and me would go there in my red and my green hair and my torn clothes and boots. And the colonel would say, I like the color of your
Are
hair.
you serious?
You see, they cannot touch me. I don't know. Maybe I was charming, but it's so funny, right? I was so gutsy. I swear I was so gutsy. I don't know. And I never really got into drugs, and everybody was. Okay, that was what wrecked Dante also, to tell you the truth. It ruined him later on, the drugs. It's these punks giving him all the time, feeding him with all this, just so Dante would be nice to them.
Uh,
Very bad. But me,
damn.
I'm very stubborn. I'm very stubborn.
Hey,
So I
it
was,
gets that mentality gets people pretty far. If you're stubborn and if you hold your ground, that means people don't take advantage of you. So there's a plus to it.
oh, I never took drugs, backstage and concerts, they all doing shabs and they offer me.
So did
I don't like. And they say you're an angel because it's all, I'm a natural high anyway. I don't need those things, you know?
yeah, I get you. Just high spirited. It's a good attitude. But so you said that did Hal and Dave never got into any trouble with the government regulations back then
No,
for playing
no,
punk rock on?
never.
Damn,
No, never, 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 never.
that
Never
is
happened.
crazy.
Why should he? But you know what?
Well,
My
I
God, if
figured
you've
he'd
seen
get into a little bit of
those Brave
trouble.
New World concerts, some kid would get stabbed, and Dante would be hitting somebody with this chain. Arnold would be asleep on the floor wearing pajamas because he was trying to be like that girl Dolph guy, wearing pajamas to concerts. So this guy would also do it.
Jesus.
And it's funny because after a while, because you know what, Anarka, um, sometimes I don't want to be clinging to something that's almost done. So I thought when something is over, it's over.
Yeah. Like,
Like the punk thing. You cannot go on living it and trying to be, oh yes, the punk. And no, you not outgrow it, but you know when you have to move on to. And I think Tommy, we had some disagreements, and we used to fight on not media, but on some magazine. I would, oh my God, I
y-
would say punk is dead. It's down in the gutter. Even just saying that makes you punk, if you're really punk. I think. Anyway,
yeah, I read that
that
Howlin Dave and Tommy had some sort of a falling out at some point.
yeah, like even Tommy's band, it was punk. It was more pop, actually pop. Dead Ends is more punk, I think, than chaos. They're natural. Uh, you know what happened? You know that album. It's like this because we were very friendly with the radio station because of Payola. We would always go there and collect the money for all the other announcers or all the other rock chops. So we were close to the owner of Wea Records. Okay, and I remember he's the one who called me the Punk Princess. He asked us to dance on TV, playing B-52's Planet Claire. He said, if you don't do our album, we won't pay you. That's what he said. Anyway, so because we were close to him, we took the album, did a
New
lot
Move for Error.
to have, yeah, to have that thing released. Because I didn't really bother with what they were doing. I mean, the technical whatever or however they were recording it. I know is that I know that Dante took it to Howard D of Dyna Records, which is a sister company of Wea. Same, brothers and sisters own the recording company. I think Dante took introduced Tommy and helped him come out with that album, so they released it. Because if it were not for that, it wouldn't be just a nothing, no album. And now they make a big deal out of it. Oh my God. And they don't know what happened behind the stories behind it. If Dante was alive, he could talk about it more.
Yeah, I wish I would have gotten involved with the Philippine punk scene at least 12 to 15 years ago because Dante,
But
how
you're very young. How old are you?
I just turned 26 about 12 days ago.
You see, so 10 years ago, you were within 16 or 15 years
I mean,
old.
I listened to punk since then, but I wasn't doing this. I was just listening to it. I
Uh,
started
you know,
interviewing
I have
people and reviewing albums in like 2015.
I have kids. They grew up listening to music too. Like my other son, he likes Talking Heads, all that kind of thing. Talking Heads.
So, how much do you know about the right now punk rock scene in the Philippines? Do you pay much attention to it?
To tell you the truth, I don't go. I don't care because I don't. I have this. I don't think it's that good. I don't think it would ever be good again. I mean, these people, these kids, they don't even have guidance. They just follow their thing, and I always get invited. They always invite me to their gigs and everything. I never go because I know I'll just get bored to death.
I'm not gonna
I know it.
name the person, but a friend of mine who I'm really close to, he's in one of the 80s bands. He made a little joke on what you just said. He pretty much told me if the bands from today would focus more on their art instead of being on Facebook 24/7, they'd be better.
True. That's right. That's true.
I,
No,
I had a little question for you since you were pretty much the inception of the scene over there. So here in the U.S., pretty much every punk band, every band in general, if you're in a band and you have material, you can get it out there. How come in the Philippines, bands from the 80s up till today especially, no one really puts out full albums? How come everyone is either on V8 comps? Like I can't even really come up with Not how come so many bands in the Philippines don't release albums anymore? How come they only are featured on
Because
comps?
I'll tell you why. Because no one is willing to. They don't believe in their music.
Oh,
They're not willing to invest unless, like what Dante did about the Chaos album, or else they wouldn't have. But he convinced them that it would sell.
which I read that it didn't sell that well. Is that true?
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Or maybe you know what? I don't know about this, okay? But I'm sure maybe Tommy paid for it. You know what
He
I
could
mean?
have.
Maybe he shelled out money. I have a feeling,
Well, well,
because when a company, when I record, I know because I work for a recording company also. I used to, because I work in the radio station, television station, I was doing events after that. For a long time, I did events and concerts and discovered talents for for the radio station, the same radio station that Dante worked for. Okay?
yeah.
And I worked for the guitars also. So I got endorsers. That's what I done all these years. Anyway, so I think because I know that when a recording company gets you, to record, they pay for the recording, they pay for everything, and you get your talent fee and everything, whatever. But I have a feeling with Tommy's album, I think he must have come out with the whole thing and maybe use the because I don't know about this. I didn't care. You know what I mean? That time I just don't care about okay, do whatever, so
Yeah.
you're coming out with an album. But I didn't care about what's happening really. But now to think about it, I'm sure Tommy paid for everything because he has money. The mother is a millionaire, okay?
Oh,
I
his
know
his
that.
mother is.
His mother is. They own whatever.
I don't know
The
anybody in
father
their
is a
family.
very nice man. Yeah.
His I
The
think
father is a
his
nice,
father passed away in 2014, from what I read.
yeah, a very nice man. I love that old man. I met him. He's very nice. You know what happened when Dante stopped playing the albums like of Sampaguita, which was so, she started doing punk new wave songs. Even
Sampaguita?
Asin, Sampaguita, she's supposed to be the Filipino rock queen, queen of rock or whatever.
I have her 78
She,
album.
yeah, she started doing new wave songs after that. Also Asin, they started coming out with reggae
What?
because yeah, they did usok. You heard usok, la usok, instead of the laments and everything had songs or lullabies. They started doing that because or else Dante won't play them.
I have heard a few times that when punk hit the Philippines, all the Manila Sound crowd, like Essene, Sampaguita, APO, and all them started to jump on the
Yes,
bandwagon and then ended up
and they started
crash.
doing, yeah, like this one. You heard of Joey Pepper Smith, right?
Yeah.
When he came to the station, the Dante showed him this album, Cramps. Papa Umama, la 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 la. And you know what? He came out with this song, Teacher's Enemy Number One. Teacher's Enemy Number One. La, 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 la. He copied. You see, that's it. See, we tell them, they do it. So Pepe came out with, you should listen to that song, Teacher's Enemy Number One,
I will do
because the
that.
singer of the Cramps is something like Pepe at the time. You know what I mean? The way he looked like a Frankenstein.
Yes.
This reminds me of Frankenstein. Papa Umama, all this. Anyway, so Pepe came out with that, you see? And Sampaguita came out with Laguna and other songs. Even Anak Bayan, they came out with Suklayin Mo Baby. They came out with different songs because of that, you see?
The,
It's good.
I'm trying to remember. It was over a year ago, but I saw some. God, I want to say it's Eat Baluga, but there's some show that I watched, and
Yeah,
it was like 80s, and it was on TV, and they were bunch of punks were on stage, like not like mohawks and shit, but The announcer was talking about punk being the new thing and everybody can be punk. It was so strange. No, it was different singers and dancers and shit coming out, and they were like dancing to punk rock music,
They
and
were just dressed up
yeah, it was
to,
like a costume
yeah.
party to a degree. And I'm just like, what?
I'll tell you something. Before we were invited to guest in the show in Itbulaga because they were starting a new contest, a competition for punk rock
I
dancing
think that's what it
contest, something
was.
like that. This was the 80s. No, this was the
Yeah,
80s.
this.
So we came out on TV and I was wearing this. Oh my God, I was so daring then. Oh, but I would wear all this crazy skimpy outfit, like SM thing, like yeah, with garters and everything.
Oh
Too much cat's eye makeup and everything. And so you know what? The coming days, all the contestants, the women, they were wearing the same clothes as I was wearing. I mean, they didn't even try to think of other outfits. They came out with their own interpretation of what I was wearing. They didn't even do research because I was wearing such a thing. They all started, it's weird because some of them couldn't get away with it, if you know what I
yeah, no,
mean,
I get you.
Yeah. You know what, Anarka? I was going to. I never get around to it. I'm supposed to write a book
You
about
need
all these things
you
I'm
need to
telling
write a
you
book.
about.
You need to. I'll buy it. Oh
Like everybody wants to buy it, but I haven't even started. Um, I haven't. I think once I get started, it will go on and on. But I will write all about this. Oh wow, all the crazy. Oh dear, see, and that's a long time ago. But I have forgotten. But when we talk about it, when I'm talking to somebody, it all comes back, right? You know what I
my
mean?
god.
The memories. You know what? I have a son, Dante's son. His name is Adam. He's, he didn't get into like music or being a DJ or disc jockey, but he got into writing. He writes
Oh,
books. He
nice.
makes scenes, and he's teaching how to make books or zines. Writing. He has written so many, but like what he helps others. I mean, new writers. He helps them come out with their own thing, and he's doing very well. What I'm trying to say is that what Dante has done for music, my son is doing it for writers, literature,
Nice.
poetry. Yeah. See, he didn't try to copy the father, though he sings. He could pick up a guitar and start singing Elvis, things like that. Yeah. And he loves this girl. I can't think of her name. She's supposed to be a young girl who's singing very good. Oh, I can't remember because he's always mentioning her. Like, anyway. So at least he didn't try to be like the father, you know.
Yeah.
And one thing, my kids didn't take drugs. You know why? Maybe they did marijuana every now and then. But you know why? Because I used to say, you should never take drugs, I'd say. And they'd say, Mom, looking at these people, like this is an audience concert. Looking at these people, do you think I'll do drugs? Because
Yeah.
everybody was high and unruly and wild. So
And
this was
plus,
one of
like,
these
under
people.
Duterte's administration, the EJK shit, I wouldn't touch it either.
Oh, exactly.
I
Yeah, but
wouldn't
this
want
was
to.
before this this horrible man.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But this was a long time ago. This was during the punk rock thing, you know.
How
Yeah.
old is your
But
son now?
oh, he's in his 30s.
Oh,
Dante's
so
30.
just a
He's a
10.
brave new world baby. He was a baby. We took him to the concerts. We took him to these events,
Nice.
right? Tommy's cousin, Sonny, he owned a sort of a club. And Dante started working there as a DJ playing our records, the punk rock
Yeah.
thing, and new wave. Wow, it was nice because all the expats, they all came because famous and everything, and they needed a band. So we looked for a band and we found the Jerks.
The
Chikoy Pura,
Jerks.
Jerks. Yeah. So we were all young then, my goodness. Okay, so we got the Jerks. You could interview Chikoy.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna do that.
He's ill. He's very, very
Yeah,
ill.
that's and I don't know if you saw my post or not because I think I added you afterwards, but I've been his wife Monette. I've been working with
Yeah.
her. I'm gonna be releasing for the first time ever their 1980. They have a 4 song 1980 session from like Green Hill Studio, something like that. I've I'm working on making 100 or 200 cassette tapes. I was gonna
You know what I
ask,
mean?
yeah, I was gonna ask you about another name before I forget because this is important. On almost every TRC release that I see, does the name Jim Sartau mean anything?
Okay, I'll tell you about Jim's Heart
Because
too.
I found out he passed
Okay,
away.
he was with the band before in the during the 70s. He's a dear friend of mine. Okay, he used to be with a band called Aunt Irma. Look it up.
Aunt
Okay, you
Irma.
could Google the songs. It's very pretty songs.
Alrighty.
Lovely. Okay, Aunt Irma. James R2. He's also does technician, music technician and engineer. You know,
Yeah.
he's very good at that. So
Yeah,
he must have done it.
he's on literally almost
He
all
passed.
the TRC tapes.
I also worked with him for a long time. I was working for Ramon Jacinto for RJ. I was doing events, I tell you, and he was with one of the engineering, the music thing. He was the one in charge of the board, the main board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, so he's that. He's very good, but he's passed
Yeah,
away
that's what I read.
about 3 or 4 years ago. Nice guy. He used to come to the house all the time with Nito Palacios. Nito Palacios integrated circuit. Also into the punk thing, new wave.
Yeah,
He's done some really good songs too.
I'll check him
If you
out.
will check him out, integrated circuit.
Integrated
He's
circuit.
like I grew up with, yeah, integrated circuit. He's got songs like he just only, he only used electronics. You know what I mean, like keyboards,
Yeah.
ting, 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 that kind of thing. It's a one man band, but he came up with some really nice songs like "Hey Sexy, you going to the party?" or "Rollers in Her Hair," something like that. Something like that.
Yeah.
Just check it out. Integrated Circuit.
Integrated circuit.
Nito Palacios. Okay, now he's living in Australia. Jim Sartu, Aunt Irma.
Yeah,
Write it down. Write it down.
I was
Okay.
pretty sad when I found out that Howlin Dave passed away. I
You
learned
know how it happened?
no,
I'll
I
tell you
don't know
what.
what happened to him at all.
Actually, he's okay. Really healthy and good looking and everything. One day, we were still together. I tell you, it was New Year, I think, or Christmas. He slipped down the stairs. Okay, fell. It was New Year's Eve. Fell. Excited, to light all that. And he's got this really big bump on his forehead. Okay, that's it. After 2, 3 years, we go forward. Fast forward. He was complaining of some dizziness or something. So Ramon Jacinto, we was working for him, had him checked out, found out there's a tumor, brain tumor at the back of his neck. Okay, he
Yeah.
was operated on brain tumor. Um, the doctor said they tried hard not to touch the nerve that controls the speaking thing, because that's his job. But after that, he deteriorated. He was worse. Um, he was limping like as if he had a stroke, but his voice was still okay. But he looked like he had a stroke. Okay? Then he went through uh, chemotherapy, but it didn't do much, I think. But he said, but it was benign anyway. But then he got more into drugs, and I tell you, it was for us. I was battered. Okay, so I left him. This was wait, how many years
Yeah, I
before he
think
died? In 2008.
yeah.
I left him because I got tired of the whole thing, and it was over. What's the use of staying, right? When something is over, you don't stay. So I left, And he got worse, worse and worse. He went back to his mother. But I think the drug thing got worse. That's one of the reasons, you know. He would beat me up. I was battered. I was all, see, I tell you this, I was all, my face is all, the cigarette butts, I know, burned my face, broke my teeth.
He did that shit to
I
you?
had, yeah, I was
Fuck.
black and blue, my legs. I would show it to my boss when I work, you know. So I just got turned off and I just left him. Maybe it's the drugs, it was his insecurity, you know. So I left. I said, I'm not going to spend the rest of my life
Yeah, I wouldn't
being
blame
treated
you.
this
I
way.
don't blame you at all.
Yeah. So I left him, but he still chased me, still harassed me. He was hosting a show. We encourage young kids, bands from schools. It was televised. He was the host. I was the one taking care of the kids, to book them. And he would talk about me on the air. It was public, it was aired live. He would talk bad about me because some Englishman was visiting me on the set. So he was fired from there. Somebody took his place, to host the show. So it was like that. It was bad. It was really bad. So I left him. And then there's this guy who was making a film about Pinoy rock, Dennis Impalmado. He used to come to the house here. This is my parents' house. I went back to my parents' house. And they asked me for pictures, for whatever, wanted to interview me. But I said no. I didn't want to have anything to do with it, with the punk thing, with Dante. It's a good thing. And now it's okay because I got over it. I moved on.
Yeah, and that's good.
That
I'm
was,
I'm very happy to
yeah.
hear this.
Because, I thought I just forget the whole thing because it was bad experience. I told it was like Sid and Nancy. That's why they called us Sid and Nancy. Because
Huh.
it was all that SM, beat up, drugs, and ladies, women were after him. To tell you the truth, because he was famous, and men were after me. Imagine if you're together and people, women would be seducing him, men would be chasing me. It's a weird, weird, weird. Some were foreigners. It is strange. So you'll end up, you know and so that's what it, and then so when he passed away, I think we were split for about 10 years. It's in my art in the article when they interview me. I said no, it was done, the music. I think that was the purpose. I think we met for that. If we didn't meet, there won't be punk rock in the Philippines. There won't be the music. I don't know what they'd be doing.
Yeah.
See, that's why, these people who are playing smart, they better behave. Because if it weren't for me meeting Dante, they won't be listening to the music. They won't be the punk rock. They won't be at all. Oh, Dante will probably be playing whatever the recording companies are dictating to them. But
Yeah.
instead, like when we started playing Sex Pistols, people would call. They would request for it to be played again and again, especially the My Way. Oh, they love it. And B-52s. And so after that, we started getting people interviewing us for magazines. And sometimes they interview Dante and then they see me. They end up interviewing me instead. Because I'm a la 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 la, Anyway, it's like that. That's what happened. So that
I'm kind of speechless.
it's like
It's
that.
fucking crazy.
So yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I'm really Violet. Thank you so much for this conversation. I have learned a lot more than I did.
He was a nice person, I tell you when I met him. Good looking, sane, happy, smart. Later on, yuck. Oh, yuck. I never look at him twice. It ruined him, which is so sad. Have you seen his pictures lately, the later ones?
I've only seen him when he was younger.
Oh, okay, but the other ones in the videos, you see, look so bad. He lost his teeth, and everything because of the drugs.
Damn,
Oh
that's sad.
God,
That's
it's so
sad.
sad.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so
very
sad.
sad.
It's very sad. Very sad, really. Because he was a beautiful man. Okay, you have to, or else I wouldn't go with him. You know what I mean? I'm not going to fall in love with him and to be with him if he was ugly. You see, but he was so beautiful when I met him. But he got worse later on. Worse and worse even after we split.
Damn.
Yeah, that's it. It was a sad thing, sad life.
Well,
But
again,
it's funny, I'll tell you what, when he died, like we were split a long time, I saw him. He was, some people when they die, they come back and they remind you about, I saw him in a dream because I wasn't feeling anything for him anymore. You know how he looked like when I met him? Good, really good. And he was just standing there like that, the way he was when I met him. Not later on with when he looked really yucky now. So I'm sure he is back to his old nice self wherever he is now.
yeah, I get you. I
I'm sure, because this is just a body anyway. The spirit is still the same, you know.
yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much for sharing all this,
Nice talking to you,
and
Anarka.
I hope I get to meet you when I get there. That'd be pretty cool to.
Yes, why not? Yes, we keep in touch.
Yes. And, thank you so much, and I
Okay.
hope you feel
I
better
talk
soon.
too much. I
No,
talk
you
too
don't
much.
talk too
That's
much.
fine.
You're good at conversation. I like it when I interview someone and I can ask a simple question and they just take it to the moon. I've had some interviews
See-
where it's practically dead because I talk to
Oh
someone
yeah.
and then they're just like, well, I put an album out and it's like,
Oh no, how
ugh.
boring.
I like you
But
because
you
you
see,
talk you.
when you ask questions, memories come running
Yeah,
back.
that's what
So
I
I just have
love.
to say it. That's what happened. See,
You
things I
flow,
have
you
forgotten,
flow.
I remember.
I love it because you're flowing through this. You're doing good, and that's entertainment. That's factual entertainment. And when I finally edit this together, I hope everybody enjoys it because you had a lot of good information.
I was there all the time. I witnessed everything.
Hell
I
yeah,
was a witness to everything. Everything I saw.
yes ma'am. Hey, well,
Yeah.
I gotta get off here and I gotta go get
Okay.
something to eat. So I'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for this.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you
Mhm.
also for the time. Okay, bye.